You know what I find absolutely crazy? I went to nursing school to become a nurse, to become financially free, and provide stability for me and stability for a future family if I was to have a child. I thought that, you know what, like, let me get into an actual career. Healthcare, phenomenal. I'll always have a job. They pay well until I actually got into nursing. Starting off as a new grad, I made $33.93 as my base pay. I was a mid shifter, so I got the same shift differential that a night shift nurse would get, and I got an additional $4. During that time, I was looking for an apartment, and all apartments were like $1,500 and up. I was only making like roughly $1,700 to $1,800 every 2 weeks. I was still going to be living paycheck to paycheck as a nurse. Even though like I chose a career, even though I went to school, I got the degree, I still found myself in the same rat race of having to pay bills, now having to pay student loans, having to afford living, and I'm still living paycheck to paycheck.
You know, I'm not here to compare my situation to anybody else's situation because at the end of the day, we are all struggling, especially in this economy. And although my situation is not as worse as anybody else's, it still is a struggle. So again, it's not about the comparison because in this economy, the overwhelming majority of us working class people are struggling. And I am one of the millions of healthcare workers who's living paycheck to paycheck. I want to give clarity on a couple of things. You can make a lot of money in healthcare, but it comes at a cost. I wanted to hop in and be a part of the conversation that Casanova started about truthful disclosure about your finances in this economy. Some of y'all gonna be like, you make good money. I do. But when I look at my check as a healthcare worker, I'm lucky if I get half my check after federal taxes have been taken out, after state taxes have been taken out, after my retirement has been taken out, after all of the shit that they charge me a la carte on my insurance, my vision, my supplemental disability. I barely get a little bit more than half my check. And it's a lot of people in healthcare that make well above minimum wage like I do that are still living paycheck to paycheck. And I'll be very honest. I owe the IRS about $20,000 in back taxes, almost $20,000 in back taxes that I give them a payment for every month. I have credit card debt. I have a car note, and I still have a small balance on my student loans, but it's still debt. I live in DC. And living in DC is not cheap. And I make well above minimum wage. And even though I'm not struggling to pay my rent, and the only reason why I'm not struggling to pay my rent is because I took my time to find something that I knew I could pay without struggling. But I don't live in a luxury apartment. I don't live in no extremely safe, nice, clean neighborhood. The neighborhood that I just moved to is pretty decent. My apartment is more than decent. And my rent is only $1,250. In DC, but Southeast DC. That comes at a cost. And the only reason why I'm saying all this is because with all the stuff that we are being taxed on, the cost of living, it's crazy. And I see why people crash out. Because you got to go to work and you have to put up with all the frustrations of dealing with what you have to deal with at your job. And then when you get your check, the overwhelming majority, if not all of your check, goes to bills, meaning cost of living. And I have definitely made my mistakes when it comes to my financial literacy has not been the best, like most Americans. So to all you motherfuckers that want to get on here and try to be like, oh, you should know better, the overwhelming majority of Americans don't have good financial literacy. That's why so many of us are in debt. But that still doesn't mean that the cost of living does not need to be motherfucking addressed. Because I work hard for what I have. Like right now, I got a stack of tickets that I haven't paid because I don't have the money for it right now. Every time I turn around, I get a ticket in the mail. Even is that the cost of living isn't just your rent. It's gas. It's the cost of living. It's the cost that you have to pay if you take public transportation. Insurance is sky high. in DC because you don't have a lot of parking spaces in DC. So you have to park on the street, and they tax the fuck out of you for it, regardless of if you have a good record or a driving record. And I don't have a bad driving record. I don't. But like I said, I got a stack of tickets that they keep sending me, and the tickets that they sending me ain't $20 or $30. 70, 100, 150. And then if you don't pay the motherfucker in 30 days, they double it. In this fucking economy. And at the end of the day, they still have systems in place to keep you down even when you make good money. So like I say, even though my struggle is not as bad as some people, it still is a struggle. And at the end of the day, our system is broken and it needs to be fixed. That's it. That's all. Bye.
Hey YouTube, people online are realizing even healthcare workers, people with jobs we usually think are stable and well-paying, are saying they're broke, stressed, and living paycheck to paycheck. So today we're going to be going through some TikToks while talking about why this is actually happening to way more healthcare workers than people probably think.
You've seen nurses living that lavish lifestyle. Let me show you what the paycheck really looks like. This was me a year ago, new grad at a community hospital. I worked a total of 69 hours. Let's see what it comes out to. Total 69.81 hours. Then we're going to see $3,461.51. And guess what I took home? Only $2,500. This is bi-weekly, guys. The glamorous lifestyle is debunked. Now, obviously, this was about 3 hours short of a full paycheck. I started off at $48 an hour. Coming out of school, I was expecting like $60 an hour, right? Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Reflecting on that paycheck, you need to pick up more hours to be able to sustain a lifestyle that is above minimum wage in California. If you're a new grad nurse, comment down below, what is your hourly rate? I'm curious. And I'm sure other new grads and other students are curious. Drop it down below, share, don't gatekeep. Peace.
Okay, I am so blessed because I have a good paying job and a career, but why did I just get paid on Wednesday and all the bills are coming up? Rent, utilities, my gym membership, my car payments. And by the end of the first, I will have $200 to last me for 2 weeks. That's not okay. I know I'm not the only one in this economy living paycheck to paycheck. Like, I have a good paying job, but why am I still struggling? $200 is not going to last me for 2 weeks. Let's be real. I am providing for a family of 4. And then not only that, I'm going to charge it on my credit card, and then it becomes a cycle. I'm always in debt. How are we surviving, guys? How are you guys making this last? How? I do not want to pick up overtime anymore because a mama is tired. I'm tired.
I'm a nurse and I got paid today, so let's go over my paycheck and what I spent it on. So I worked 4 shifts in 2 weeks. That's 4 12-hour night shifts. I believe I worked all weekends in this pay period, and you get an extra $10 an hour when you work weekends. You also get like an extra differential for nights and then like the evening portion of your like night shift. I'm also technically PRN status, so I just pick up when I want to work, and every single time I pick up, I get an incentive bonus. And the incentive bonus is 25% of your base rate. So it comes out to like almost $9 an hour. So for the 4 shifts, my total paycheck was $1,982. So that's with everything taken out, my 401k, all my taxes and everything. So for this paycheck, I paid my car payment, which is $760. I paid the water bill, which is around $80 a month. I paid the electric bill, which is $253. And I'm curious what your electric bill is, because in my area, like, that's pretty cheap. We're on like the standardized bill, so every single month it's the same. And we run a pool like 24/7. So I'm just like curious what other people's electric bill is. So comment what your electric bill is. And then I put $500 of that aside for gas and groceries for the next 2 weeks. So that brings the total to $1,593. That leaves $389. Whatever's left, me and my husband just split for spending money, and then we do the same exact thing with his paycheck. We just like pay the bills and then we split whatever's left. I'm not gonna go over my husband's paycheck, but we are a 2-income household. But I'll see you guys next time.
I just got home, it was payday. This is my realistic healthcare paycheck and how I budget it. For reference, I worked in nuclear medicine, I live in Texas, and I've been doing this for almost 3 years, a little over 3 years. In the past 2 weeks, I made $2,955.31, And this is actually a bigger paycheck than normal because I had call hours and I got called in and stayed late. So I had a bunch of shift differential and like back pay on this check. A typical check sits around $2,200 for me, but this is how I'm gonna budget this check. Off top, I'm gonna pay about $1,100 towards my student loans. It's almost the end of the month, student loans are due. Then I'm going to pay off my credit card. My credit card balance sitting right around $500. I like to pay it off as soon as I can, so there will go that. That will put me at about $1,300. I then have to pay insurance, which is car, renter, and life insurance, which is about $170. And I'm also gonna budget about $130 for groceries and gas. That will put me at about $1,000 left. I'm gonna put $250 into my emergency fund, and then I'll have $750 to last me until next paycheck.
People hear healthcare worker and immediately think good money, stable life, and you're set. But a lot of workers are saying that's just not how it feels anymore. Rent is insane, food costs more, everything costs more. And suddenly a paycheck that sounds good on paper doesn't actually go that far. You can be working a hard, respected job and still feel like you're barely keeping up. And that's the reality of today's economy.
My car is on E right now, and I still pass by the gas pump. Something that I've been seeing a lot of people get on here and talk about is like the age of disclosure, like Casanova Brown's like video saying that there are so many people struggling and that is something that we probably should be shedding more light on. And as a nurse who's in my mid-20s and who lives in Mississippi, which is always touted as having the lowest cost of living, I think it's quite literally insane the way the majority of us are living right now. I think it's so sinister and it's just so disheartening when you have gone to school and you've dedicated your life to a profession that is very noble. Like nursing is very noble. You help people and it still feels like I am living paycheck to paycheck, even making six figures, even with picking up shifts, even with sometimes 80-hour work weeks that I work. It still feels like it's just impossible to make ends meet or to like get ahead and save any money and to do anything extra. And I'm not an economics professor or a financial analyst or anything of the sort, but I just feel like it is so very much insane that there are lots of us who are making six figures and still have roommates and still are struggling to make ends meet and are still living paycheck to paycheck, even though we are making the most money we've ever made before. And I think that just goes to show like we really are erasing the middle class. The things that my parents were able to do for me and the amount of money that we were able to live off when I was a kid, it is just not that anymore. I mean, do you know the amount of vacations and things that I could have taken with the money that I have now back then? Like, it is just not the same anymore. And I know that I'm not the only one because I know a lot of other people who are my age, some of my friends included, who all of us have done all the right things, gotten the degree, gotten the good job. We pay our bills, maybe have a side hustle, and nobody is talking about that. And nobody is saying that even though the numbers are the numbers are simply just not working out the way they used to. The math just is not the same. And I think it's just very, very sad that even with all of the work that we've put in and all of the things that we do, that we still have to sit at the gas pump and we have to do that mental math in our head. And we still have to drive off knowing that we need gas.
Those nurses that you guys see living those lavish lifestyles, buying luxury things, are typically travel nurses, or they're also just pulling a lot of like overtime because overtime can be good for us. A lot of nurses have gotten into content creation because a lot of people do aspire to join the healthcare field. So they're getting like supplemented with a little bit of like money on the side. There's money coming from somewhere, but just the base pay as a nurse, you're not getting it. And I will also have very candid and honest conversations with people. Some people are just living off credit cards. I mean, they're not sacrificing any more of their time. Nursing already is like a laborious job, and people are upset that they have to work more than 3/12 to even sustain their lifestyle. They will just live off of credit cards. A lot of people are in a lot of debt. I'm going to insert a screenshot from my bank statement. I will show you guys 2 paychecks that I received from my last job. This was before I became a travel nurse. Those checks were roughly about $1,800 each. The money that we make now just doesn't align with the economy. And honestly, the more you make, the more they take. So making more puts you in a different tax bracket. They're going to take more. So essentially, you need to work probably 3 times as hard just to help supplement like what the income that you have. that's my 2 cents. Don't believe everything you see on social media.
I've been a nurse for 14 years, and I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. I did everything right. Went to college, got a degree, worked the long shifts, everything that I thought was right, what I was gonna need to be successful, to provide for my family, and yet here I am, just barely making it each and every week. When I look at my paycheck, it's already gone. There's nothing. That's when I knew I needed to do something differently. Comment real if this hits home for you too.
Healthcare jobs are already exhausting on their own. Long shifts, short staffing, and constant pressure. That stuff wears people down quick. Now add money stress on top of that, it starts making people question what all that work is even getting them.
Y'all, today was pay day, a slay. So, my name is Brittany, and I am a 21-year-old patient care technician living in Connecticut. I am afloat in the hospital, and I do work nights. So I'm just gonna share with y'all what my paycheck looked like this paycheck, and I get paid every 2 weeks. So you know the vibes. You know, I brought my receipts. I ain't come to play. Bear in mind, this paycheck does involve like a referral bonus, because I did refer someone to the hospital and they did get a job, which was a $2,500 referral bonus, but they gave me half of it, which was $1,250, because they just got hired, so they're gonna give me the other half when they're finished with their 6 months probation period. So yeah, so which brought my gross pay to $5,116.62, additional to the $1,250, so that brings it to $6,366.62. Uncle Sam, of course, took what he felt like taking, because obviously we both worked. He took $2,002.80. So my net pay was $4,364.62. So the deduction from the $5,116.62 without the referral bonus was $1,538.55. So what they did was they put the referral bonus in another paycheck so that they wouldn't take out so many taxes. So from the $1,250, they took $464.25. So that's why in all the taxes were $2,002.80. If they had added the $1,250 to my regular paycheck, they would have taken on more taxes. But thank y'all. So that brought my net pay to $4,364.62. That's what I brought home. Okay, so it is the ending of the month, so you know rent is due tomorrow. I already paid my rent today though. So rent was $1,500. I put $1,000 in my Capital One high yield savings account. Bear in mind, I do not throw a 401k with this company because I can't get my money until 5 years time, and I'm not staying with them for 5 years. I'm not doing that. So any money I put towards it or in it, I'm not gonna get it because I'm not staying with them for so long. So I'm gonna lose. So I'd rather just throw the money in my high yield savings account. Anyways. So $1,500 for rent, $1,000 went into my savings, $200 for my Navy Federal credit card, or $200 for my Capital One credit card, $140 for my phone bill, and that brought my total to $3,040. And what was left over, what I brought home, like what I have, the leftover was $1,324.62. I'm talking about what was left over, what I brought home. I brought home all of it, but it went to bills. But what's left over that I could use is $1,324.62. And knowing me, I'm probably gonna put some more in my savings. I did buy some face products, so yeah, that's basically it. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know, because I don't mind. And if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, I'm probably gonna be doing these videos every pay period. So let me know. Yeah. Something like nothing too crazy. Yeah, just again let me know if you want to see more videos like this. And if you do have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. And don't be rude, okay? Don't be rude. Thank you.
So I was watching YouTube, and there was a lady on YouTube. She was a nurse, and I guess she talked to other nurses about how much she made. And she was talking to this one nurse, and she was shocked that she made $200,000 this 1 year, and she had a negative $300 in her account. Now this goes back to what I tell people all the time: just because you feel like that, if you make more money, you'll save more money. That's not the fucking case. If you make more money, people generally spend more money to upgrade their lifestyle in every possible way. So we all know Uncle Sam got a big portion of that, but the lady told her to look at her bank transactions and see how much she actually brought in, how much actually came into her home. And she said the amount of money that came into her account in that year was $140,000. So she touched $140,000, and she was living paycheck to paycheck. And currently, her account, it was negative $300. Now, before y'all even come down my throat, pause. We already know where the money went. She said that it went towards a car, it went to her upgraded house that she got, and she liked to travel a lot. And she never paid off her loan. Guys, the most important thing is, if you guys are going to go through anything like this, the most important thing that you should do is pay that loan back first. That way you pay the loan back, you get them people off your ass, and don't be so quick to upgrade your lifestyle. Keep everything the exact same. I promise you, keep everything the exact same after you pay the loan off. And maybe for about 5 years, you'll be able to say that, man, I have an amazing nest egg to lay my head on. But a lot of people get into the lifestyle, they get the new money. They get the new money and don't know how to act. I ain't even gonna hold you. When I got out of debt, I didn't know how to act. I had new money, and new money was like, I didn't know what I was gonna do with this extra $17 to $2,003 checks I was getting me. I felt like I had a baby income tax check every time I got my paycheck. So I acted the same way, but I smartened up way quick. I blew some money. I blew about maybe $10,000-$15,000, but I smartened up real quick. I say, man, you just spend this money recklessly on stupid shit that you don't even need, shit that I couldn't even tell you where it is right now. And you would not believe the amount of people that make over $100,000, of the amount of people that make what she makes. They are living paycheck to paycheck because they upgrade their lifestyle super quick as soon as they get their money, and they living paycheck to paycheck. Let this story be a lesson, y'all. It's okay to stay down and stack your bread for as long as you can. And when you finish stack your bread, ball on the ass. But try to stay down. Try to have a 10-year goal. Stay down as long as you can. Then after you do that, you do whatever the fuck that you want to. But please make sure that whatever you do, you get out of debt and you stay out of debt. That's going to make sure that you have the most money in your pocket whenever you need it. I hope this helps.
Some people tend to forget how expensive it is to just get into healthcare in the first place. Schooling, certifications, training, a lot of workers are carrying debt before they even really start making money. So yeah, someone might have a decent salary, but a chunk of it's already gone. That's a big reason why this conversation is connecting with so many people online. But if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and just, like and subscribe, yada yada yada. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.